You've probably heard that creatine is just for bodybuilders, that it causes bloating, damages your kidneys, or that women shouldn't take it. I used to believe some of those things too, until I came across the real science behind it, and what I found changed everything about how I train, recover, and feel day to day. If you've ever felt stuck in your workouts, like your energy runs out too soon or your results aren't showing up the way they should, this might be the piece you're missing. Creatine isn't just safe, it's one of the most researched and effective supplements out there. And no, it's not a steroid. In this video, you'll understand how creatine actually works in your body, how to take it the right way, and what to expect in terms of performance and health. We're not here to sell you myths, we're here to give you clarity, backed by real data and simple explanations. And if, like me, you've been wasting time on what doesn't work, I've prepared something special. A free, exclusive guide that we developed specifically for those who want to train smarter, with fewer doubts and more results. But I'll only talk about it at the right moment, so stay with me. Alright, let's kick things off at the absolute bottom of the barrel, the F tier. These are the supplements that, in my professional opinion, offer virtually no real health benefits and can sometimes even be harmful. First up, we have the infamous detox teas. You've seen them all over social media, promoted by influencers promising a flat tummy and a cleansed system. The reality? These teas are a scam. They don't detox anything. Your liver and kidneys are your body's natural, highly effective detoxification system, and they don't need help from a tea bag. So what's actually in these products? If you look closely at the ingredients, you'll usually find a combination of caffeine, diuretics, and laxatives like senna leaf. The caffeine gives you a temporary energy boost, the diuretics make you pee more, and the laxatives make you run to the bathroom. This combination leads to a loss of water weight, which can make you feel lighter and look slimmer for a day or two. But it's not real sustainable fat loss. It's just dehydration and irritation of your digestive system, which can lead to cramping, diarrhea, and electrolyte imbalances if used long-term. Joining detox teas in the F tier are exogenous ketone supplements. These are powders or drinks that claim to put your body into a state of ketosis without you having to follow a strict ketogenic diet. They promise fat loss, mental clarity, and boundless energy. While it's true that drinking these supplements will temporarily raise the level of ketones in your blood, this is not the same as nutritional ketosis. Your body isn't producing these ketones by burning its own fat for fuel, you're just consuming them. Think of it like this. Nutritional ketosis is like your body learning to be an efficient, fat-burning machine. Taking ketone supplements is like just pouring some of the machine's exhaust fumes into your bloodstream. It doesn't trigger the same metabolic adaptations, like increased fat oxidation or improved insulin sensitivity, that make the ketogenic diet potentially beneficial for some people. The research supporting their use for weight loss in the general population is incredibly weak. Ultimately, both of these products prey on our desire for a quick fix. They sell a shortcut that doesn't exist. There is no tea that can undo a poor diet, and there is no powder that can replace the metabolic benefits of your body adapting to burn fat. For that reason, they both get a firm F from me. Save your money, and more importantly, protect your health from these misleading products. Moving up a notch, but still not great, we have the D tier. These are supplements that might have a kernel of truth to them or a very specific use case, but for the average person the evidence is weak, misleading, or overblown. First on our list is alkaline water. The marketing claim is that our modern diets make our bodies too acidic, leading to disease, and that drinking water with a higher pH can neutralize this acid and improve our health. This sounds plausible, but it fundamentally misunderstands human physiology. Your body has incredibly powerful and tightly regulated systems, particularly through your lungs and kidneys, to maintain your blood pH within a very narrow, stable range of about 7.35 to 7.45. What you eat or drink has virtually no impact on your blood pH. While the alkaline water might change the pH of your urine, that's just your kidneys doing their job of excreting excess alkali. There is no strong, consistent scientific evidence to support the claims that alkaline water prevents cancer, osteoporosis, or any other chronic disease. It's basically just expensive water. Next up in D tier is L-glutamine. This amino acid is often marketed to a gym-going audience with promises of enhanced muscle growth, reduced soreness, and improved recovery. While glutamine is indeed the most abundant amino acid in the body and plays a role in immune function and gut health, supplementing with it isn't necessary for most healthy active individuals. Your body produces plenty of its own glutamine, and you also get it from protein-rich foods like meat, fish, and dairy. The research showing benefits for L-glutamine supplementation is primarily in very specific clinical populations, such as burn victims, post-surgery patients, or individuals with severe catabolic stress where glutamine stores are critically depleted. For the average person looking to build muscle or lose weight, multiple studies have shown that adding extra glutamine on top of an adequate protein intake provides no additional benefit for muscle gain, performance, or recovery. It's not harmful, but it's likely just a waste of money for most of us. Finally, let's talk about berberine. This supplement has gained a ton of popularity recently, being called nature's Ozempic for its supposed effects on blood sugar and weight loss. Berberine is a compound found in several plants, and it does have some interesting mechanisms. It can activate an enzyme called AMPK, which is like a master metabolic switch in our cells, and it can have modest effects on improving insulin sensitivity and lowering blood sugar. Some studies even suggest it can influence GLP-1, the same hormone targeted by drugs like Ozempic. However, this effect appears to be very temporary and far less potent than the pharmaceutical versions. The evidence for significant long-term weight loss in the general population is still developing and not as robust as the hype suggests. While it might have a place for some individuals with blood sugar concerns, for now, its widespread promotion as a miracle weight loss pill lands it in the D tier. Now we're entering the C tier, which I like to call the "it depends" category. These supplements aren't necessarily bad, but their utility is highly situational. And the king of the C tier is the classic multivitamin. For decades, we've been told that taking a daily multivitamin is a simple insurance policy for our health, filling in any nutritional gaps in our diet. It's one of the most common supplements in the world, with billions of dollars spent on it every year. The problem is, for the average healthy person who eats a reasonably balanced diet, the evidence for benefit is surprisingly weak. Large-scale, long-term studies and major reviews from respected bodies like the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force have repeatedly found no strong evidence that multivitamins prevent chronic diseases like heart disease, cancer, or cognitive decline in the general population. It seems that getting your vitamins and minerals from whole foods is far superior, likely because they come packaged with fiber, phytonutrients, and other beneficial compounds that work synergistically. So why isn't it in a lower tier? Because there are specific situations where a multivitamin can be useful. If you know your diet is consistently poor, maybe you're a college student living on ramen, or going through a particularly busy period at work where takeout is the norm, a multivitamin can act as a temporary safety net to prevent overt deficiencies. It can also be beneficial for specific populations, like older adults who may have absorption issues, or pregnant women who have increased needs for certain nutrients like folic acid and iron. Though they should be taking a specific prenatal vitamin, however, there's also a downside to the just-in-case mentality. Taking high doses of certain fat-soluble vitamins like A and E can be toxic over time as they build up in your body. Furthermore, a multivitamin can create a false sense of security, making people think they can eat poorly because their pill has them covered. And in many cases, if your diet is already decent, you're not absorbing all those extra nutrients, you're just creating very expensive urine. Because of this huge divide, being largely unnecessary for the healthy majority but potentially useful for specific targeted situations, the multivitamin sits squarely in the middle of our list. It's not a villain, but it's certainly not the hero it's often made out to be. Before you grab a bottle, it's far better to focus on improving your diet. A colorful plate will always beat a colorless pill. Staying in our C tier, let's talk about another incredibly popular supplement, omega-3 fatty acids, most commonly consumed as fish oil capsules. These have been hailed for years as a miracle for heart health, brain function, and reducing inflammation. The hype originated from observations that populations eating a lot of fatty fish, like the Inuit in Greenland, had very low rates of heart disease. This led to the theory that the omega-3s, specifically EPA and DHA, were responsible. The science, however, has become a bit more complicated over the years. Early studies were very promising, but as more and larger trials have been conducted, the results have become mixed. For the general, healthy population, taking a standard dose of fish oil doesn't seem to significantly reduce the risk of having a first heart attack or stroke. the benefits appear to be much more pronounced in specific groups. For example, there is good evidence that high-dose prescription-strength omega-3s can be beneficial for people who already have established heart disease or those with very high triglyceride levels. In these clinical scenarios, under a doctor's supervision, they can play a valuable role. There's also a strong case to be made for vegans and vegetarians who don't consume fish and may have trouble converting plant-based omega-3s or ALA into the more useful EPA and DHA. For them, an algae-based DHA-EPA supplement can be very important for brain and overall health. But for the average person just looking for a health boost, the evidence is murky. Some meta-analyses suggest a small benefit, while others find none. It's certainly not the powerful preventative tool for everyone that it was once thought to be. The quality of the supplement also matters immensely. Many over-the-counter fish oil supplements can be underdosed, contain oxidized or rancid oil, or have contaminants like heavy metals. This is a classic case where the original source is best. Eating oily fish like salmon, mackerel, herring, and sardines 2 to 3 times a week provides not only high-quality EPA and DHA but also vitamin D, selenium, and high-quality protein. The food matrix is almost always superior. Because omega-3 supplements have clear benefits for specific populations but questionable utility for the general public, they land firmly in the C tier. Our final entry in the C tier is another product that has exploded in popularity, especially in the fitness and wellness space: electrolyte powders and drinks. These products are packed with minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and they're marketed as essential for hydration, energy, and optimal performance for everyone, every day. You see people sipping them at their desks, on their commutes, and treating them like a mandatory part of a healthy lifestyle. Let's be clear about what electrolytes are and when they are actually necessary. Electrolytes are minerals that carry an electric charge and are vital for nerve function, muscle contractions, and maintaining fluid balance. We lose them primarily through sweat. Therefore, supplementing with electrolytes is absolutely crucial in situations involving significant fluid and mineral loss. This includes intense, prolonged exercise. Think running a marathon or a 90-minute hot yoga class, working outdoors in extreme heat, or during bouts of illness involving vomiting or diarrhea. In those specific contexts, an electrolyte drink can be a game-changer, helping to prevent dehydration, muscle cramps, and dangerous drops in sodium levels. The problem is, the marketing has far outpaced the science for the average person's daily life. If you're someone who does a moderate 30 to 45-minute workout at the gym, or sits in an air-conditioned office all day, you are not losing enough sweat to warrant a dedicated electrolyte supplement. You are getting all the sodium, potassium, and magnesium you need from your balanced diet. Many of these popular electrolyte powders are also incredibly high in sodium. While sodium is a critical electrolyte, most people in Western societies already consume far too much of it, which is linked to high blood pressure and other cardiovascular issues. Adding a high sodium drink on top of that, when it's not needed for sweat replacement, is not a wise health choice. Plain water is perfectly adequate for hydration for the vast majority of people in the vast majority of situations. Because electrolytes are absolutely essential in specific high-sweat scenarios but are completely unnecessary and potentially even counterproductive for the average sedentary person's daily routine, they are the definition of a C-tier supplement. Their usefulness is entirely dependent on context. Don't fall for the hype that you need to be sipping salty water all day long, unless your activity level truly demands it. We're now moving up into the B tier, reserved for supplements that have good evidence for a large portion of the population, and a perfect example is vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. Unlike most vitamins, our bodies can actually produce vitamin D when our skin is exposed to UVB rays from the sun. It plays a crucial role in calcium absorption, making it essential for bone health, and it's also involved in immune function and mood regulation. The reason vitamin D ranks this high is that deficiency is incredibly common worldwide. Many people simply don't get enough sun exposure to produce adequate amounts. This includes those who live in northern latitudes with long, dark winters, people who work indoors all day, individuals who consistently wear sunscreen, which is important for skin cancer prevention, and older adults whose skin is less efficient at producing vitamin D. People with darker skin tones also have a higher risk of deficiency, because melanin, which gives skin its color, reduces the skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight. For these massive segments of the population, a vitamin D supplement isn't just a good idea, it's often a necessity to maintain optimal levels and support bone health. Numerous studies have shown that supplementing can correct a deficiency, which in turn can reduce the risk of falls and fractures in the elderly and support a healthy immune system. This isn't about megadosing, it's about bringing levels from insufficient to sufficient. However, it's not in the A or S tier because the evidence for it preventing major diseases in people with already healthy levels is not as strong as many hoped. While observational studies linked low vitamin D to everything from cancer to heart disease, randomized controlled trials, the gold standard of evidence, have largely failed to show that supplementation in the general population prevents these conditions. It seems to be more of a marker of health rather than a direct cause in many cases. So, the key with vitamin D is targeted supplementation. It's one of the few supplements where I think it's a very good idea to get your blood levels checked to see if you are actually deficient. If you are, supplementing is a wise move. You can also get some from dietary sources like fatty fish, fortified milk, and mushrooms. But for many, a supplement is the most reliable way to ensure adequacy. Because it addresses a widespread deficiency with proven benefits, vitamin D comfortably earns its spot in the B tier. Also landing in the solid B tier is magnesium. This mineral is, honestly, a true workhorse in the human body. It's a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic reactions, which means it's essential for everything from energy production and protein synthesis to muscle function, nerve transmission, blood glucose control, and blood pressure regulation. Despite its critical importance, studies suggest that a significant portion of the population doesn't actually consume enough magnesium through their diet. Modern farming practices have, unfortunately, depleted magnesium levels in the soil, which means our food just isn't as rich in it as it once was. And, diets high in processed foods are also typically low in magnesium. This subclinical insufficiency, while not a severe deficiency, can contribute to a range of issues including muscle cramps, fatigue, and poor sleep. This is where supplementation can be quite beneficial for many people. There's a growing body of evidence supporting magnesium's role in specific areas. For example, some studies suggest it can help improve sleep quality, particularly for those with insomnia, by helping to regulate neurotransmitters that promote calm and relaxation. It's also linked to reduced anxiety, and may help prevent migraines in some individuals. Now, different forms of magnesium are marketed for different benefits. For instance, magnesium glycinate is known for being gentle on the stomach and good for sleep, while magnesium citrate is often used for its laxative effect. One of the most exciting areas of research is around a form called magnesium L-threonate, which has been shown in animal studies to readily cross the blood-brain barrier and increase magnesium concentrations in the brain. This has led to promising, though still preliminary, research into its potential to support cognitive function, learning, and memory. While more robust human trials are needed, it really highlights the potential of targeted magnesium supplementation. The reason it's in B tier and not higher is that, while the evidence for correcting a deficiency is strong, the evidence for many of its other purported benefits like boosting athletic performance or dramatically improving mood in the general population is still developing. It's very safe for most people at recommended doses, though too much can cause diarrhea, and given its widespread insufficiency and foundational role in health, it's a very reasonable supplement for many to consider, especially if their diet is lacking in magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and whole grains.